hit us up. He said, why do people just assume Ohio State can win a national title every year? My answer is because they can win a national title every year.
Lay hold of it. You lay hold of it. And when that thing tells you to quit, you look at it in his eye and say, I ain't going nowhere. I will break you before you break me. You will not defeat me. You will not destroy me. Some of you are so ignorant. You've been through so much hell. You gonna quit now? You should have quit 10 years ago. You should have been quit. You don't quit now. It's the 10th round. You got 2 more to go. And when you get to success, it's not about skill. When you get to a certain level of success, it's about stamina. It's about stamina. It's about you won't break me. You can't take me. It's too late now. It's too late. You should have broke me a long time ago. I'm unbreakable now. The only chance at this point is you gotta kill me. And you gotta kill me now. And then when you kill me, my legacy will live.
Good morning, Buckeye Nation. Welcome to Best Damn Media Buckeye BS. Right here with your guy, Mike, man. We missing our guys, Cam, Ron, Q. Make sure you hit them up on Twitter. Tell them, get their butts in here next week, man. But Ohio State coming off a 49-14 victory over Marshall, man. Shout out to the Buckeyes. Came out a little rusty on that defense, though. But shout out to the Buckeyes. Getting it done. We saw some passion out of Ryan Day. My man Ryan Day went ahead, got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the refs. But I'll tell you this, it was definitely worth it because right after that, not right after, but later on in the game, you saw the refs end up calling a penalty on Marshall because they kept trying to get us to delay a game. Understand, got to use all your tactics. You even heard Will Howard in his press conference, post-game press conference say, I've been part of games where we did stuff like that, but there's a new rule in the NCAA that is preventing teams from doing that. So Ryan Day was 1,000% in the right going in on the refs, and I like it. And maybe this is what we are going to see from Ryan Day here on out when he's not calling plays, not having to worry about the quarterback. Now he can focus on the whole team. I like it. And he keeping them refs in check because, Lord Jesus, the Big Ten refs, man, they are terrible, terrible, terrible. I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to our guy. Doug was the first one in the chat with the OHIO. And he also said, make sure you hit that like button. Yes, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. You can catch us right here on Best Damn Media all throughout the week. You got Ron and Q every Monday through Friday in the mornings at 8 a.m. bright and early. Get your Buckeye roast, man. Get your nice coffee. Listen to Ron, listen to Q as they break down the Buckeyes. And then you got me, Mike, and Terry on Wednesdays with the Fans Edge. So make sure you're tuning in there. We're always keeping good content coming to you all. Make sure you put something in the chat. Let us know how you are feeling about the games and what you think about the Buckeyes' victory, man. So let's talk about the defense. Defense, I would say, came out rusty after the bye week, right? Allowed a long drive over 6 minutes, closer to 7. Would that be a little bit concerning? I would say just the way that we were playing in that defense and the scheme that we were running, I would just say Jim Knowles wasn't scheming anything up. He wasn't bringing any pressure. We were just working with 4. Now, I will say I do want to see those 4 get home more often. And I don't believe just because Tyleik Williams is out of the game that there should be a significant drop-off. We go into Big Ten play next week. I do not want to see the defensive line, just being a little lazy-daisical, man. That's what my coach used to call it. Don't be out there being lazy-daisical. Go out there and give it your all. So I do want to see the defense ramp it up next week. Hoping that it's just the bye week jitters, man. They gave up their first touchdown in the season. Jack Sawyer, I know he's not going to be happy with that. Definitely need to go ahead, hold those guys accountable. But second game where we have a targeting, guys not keeping their heads up. And, I understand the targeting, kicking guys out of the game is ticky-tack. And I'll tell you why this might end up being a better lesson for Caden Curry. Because if you are going to commit. There was a point where he paused before hitting the quarterback. And he should have just went ahead and then hit the quarterback instead of taking that pause break. After you pause and then you hit the quarterback, it becomes unnecessary. I think it could have been an unnecessary roughing the passer or a personal foul penalty. I didn't think he needed to be kicked out the game, but I do think this is a teaching moment, man. Let's see. We do have a super chat. Super chat's coming in. Our guy Mike Green. USC lost because of USC, not because of scum. I somewhat agree with that. For sure, man. But we will get into that later in the show. We talk about what's going on around the Big Ten. But offense, we was like, hey, how's the offense going to come out? Is the offense going to be rusty? No, not at all. Second play of the game, boom, pass to Emeka. And you saw Emeka with the burst, with the wheels, and it just seems like everybody was like, oh, Emeka looks faster. No, this is Emeka without dead legs. And if we can keep him fresh, keep those legs fresh, you're going to see a lot of this with Emeka. Remember, everybody, CJ Stroud's last year in 2022 was talking, Emeka looks slow. Then all of a sudden in the Georgia game, man, Emeka looks fast. It's called dead legs, guys. So we're going to help you out with this, man. But Ohio State does get their first turnover. Bill Howard throws his first interception. And I worry about Will Howard's deep ball, but that one was more 50-50 ball. I think that JJ could do a better job of tracking it. Bill can also do a better job of throwing it. But it's a 50-50 ball, and our coaching staff, Will Howard even said in the post-game conference, he said, we came into the game, wanted to let it rip, and JJ, I'm going to trust him. Most of the time you heard this coaching staff all offseason, you heard those 50-50 balls are more like 80-20 balls, 70-30 balls when you got JJ out there. So, I mean, one thing that we did ask is throw those 50 balls, let the guys go try to make plays. Our guys got to make plays. If you can't make the catch, you got to play defense. Hey, that's what wide receiver coaches definitely stress on that, man. But another thing, offensive line, Donovan Jackson, he comes back out there. Donovan Jackson looked really good, and you can tell that they are going to lean on the left side of the line a lot. They are going to lean on that left side a lot. A lot of our big yardage runs was coming from that side. Donovan Jackson holding guys up, still looking strong. I know people were worried about the chemistry. I don't see no chemistry issues with this O-line. And I'll tell you this, I talked about this with Terry on the Fans Edge when we were talking about, hey, is there going to be any chemistry issues with Donovan Jackson coming back? And I said, I don't think that there's going to be any chemistry issues. And the reason being is because of Seth McLaughlin. I felt like the reason why guys like Tegra and Austin Saraville were able to be as good as they are because of that guy right there in the middle. And they talk about him being like an extension of a coach on the field. Ryan Day in the post game saying he's an NFL center. So he makes the job easier of the other old linemen, and he makes the job easier of the quarterback. So, I mean, shout out to Seth McLaughlin, man. I think right there, that is the most underrated transfer. I done said this a couple times. I think that's the most underrated transfer portal guy because y'all remember how Davidson Igbinosun came in and he just changed the mentality of the cornerback room. I think that possibly could be happening with this O-line room because they just look nasty. The way they're getting to the second level, the way that they are finishing block, it looks like they have a different mentality in that O-line room. And I love it, man. Let's go ahead, check out what they saying in the chats, man. They talking about that team up north game. The QB for Marshall played out of his mind. He was a 44% completion passer before the game. Yeah, I mean, hey, what they did is they did a lot of quick game. And the thing is why I was talking about like our scheme. You know, even when we were playing in man coverage, we weren't really playing press man. They were getting a lot of underneath things as well. And it's not like our guys was getting beaten, man, like beat bad in man coverage. They were right there, but they were a step behind. But they were there to make the tackle and things like that, right? But later on in that game, you saw us go and play press man instead of playing off man, right? So when we was playing press man, they couldn't really do much. And that's why I was just saying, like, understanding things was just a little bit vanilla. Jim knows wasn't showing much. Going into conference play next week, I really think that it might have just been a little rust. And here's the thing that I want y'all to remember. We watched a lot of teams week 1, week 2, try to be vanilla and came out of those games scratching, clawing, right? And I gave an example on the Fans Edge. I said, you saw Bama, right? Coming out, looking a little bit vanilla, you know, playing a little down to the competition. But when they had to turn it on, they were able to. That's how you separate the elite teams from the good teams and the okay teams, right? And that's how Ohio State is. When they need to turn it on, they can. And they took care of their inferior opponents the way you are supposed to, going ahead beating them 49-14, man. So definitely want to speak on that. We got to get the defense cleaned up. I mean, let's talk about it. I think one of the things that got to be cleaned up on the defense is the linebacker play. I mean, I think that just being honest, right now it looks like Sonny Styles is going to have some issues developing into that role. I think you give him a year of development in that role, he's going to be fine. There's just some things that he has to clean up, and he knows that, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. We're not trashing the guy. There's just things that he needs to change mentally, because when you see those guys pulling, Sonny, you got to come downhill and meet those guys. Don't let them get hands on you. You got to push and blow them back. Go watch some. I'm sure Laurinaitis them probably showed them some teach tape of that. Like, you got to meet them with contact. It's a whole different mentality when you playing in the box, going up against those bigger guys and knowing that you got to actually be physical and not let them get hands on you. So that's definitely something. Also, I thought Kate McDonald was going to end up starting this game. I saw Hero Canoe on the first drive, right? I think Kate McDonald should have been out there starting if Tyleik Williams is not healthy. And I know some Buckeye fans said, well, he's not an every down back, right? I mean, a every down D lineman. Cool, whatever. But it's the beginning of the game. Let the guys set the tone, and we should have enough guys to rotate. But put your best players on the field. I definitely want to see more of what's his name, Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese, there was some stuff where he made mistakes, and this is why I feel like the defense was in such a rhythm, and that bye week killed them. Hopefully, Russ Bjork going forward don't make these Gene Smith type of scheduling issues, man. The speed yesterday was amazing to see. Yes, it was. Elks, we have seen people on Twitter try to tell us that this team lacks team speed, but I did not see that at all. What else? We got Fryer and Seth downfield blocking. Yes, Fryer and I mean all the old linemen I've seen out there downfield blocking, getting to the second level. Now I will say, I don't know if this is why Ryan Day keeps talking about trusting your technique, because I'm sure that that's not the first spin move Fryer has seen or has worked on, and he needs to trust his technique. And if his technique's not good enough for that, we're gonna have some issues going in the Big Ten play. But hopefully he can get that cleaned up. I mean, it was just one play, but it did lead to a significant loss on the game, man. But when you're talking about a team, we used to hear Urban Meyer always saying, hey, I want to be 250, 250. We go into this year, we talked about being a more balanced team. You seen our offense, our pass offense going 290, right? 290 yards in passing, 280 on the ground. That's about 50-50 to me. So I'm loving what our team is doing, man. And shout out to Trey and shout out to Judkins, man. I'm telling you, defensive coordinators are going to watch that tape, especially Michigan State's defensive coordinators, and see how strong and how nasty those stiff arms are. And oh my gosh, I got to get a biggest shout out to Trey, because y'all know I was one of his biggest critics. And Trey is going crazy, bro. Trey, it looks way better, not falling down on the arm tackles, running hard through them. And we watched, I don't know if y'all watched the little, pregame stuff that they had, but they did the little sit down with Trey and Judkins. And he was like, man, I just know, like, I got to go hard because I know Judkins going to go hard. And Judkins like, I know I got to go hard because Trey going to go hard. And that's what we're seeing out of this. I don't see how someone could stop these two running backs. I love what Chip Kelly is doing. You're talking about those super counters or whatever the heck, bro, was opening up like big lanes. And I was sitting there watching Judkins, man. I'm like, he's running. I'm like, Judkins, don't get caught, man. And he makes it in the end zone. What was that, like 86 yards? I think he's tied for third for the longest touchdown run in Buckeye history. So already getting his name in there in Buckeye history, man. Shout out Judkins. Glad that he came here. All right. Let's see. All right. Super chat. Can we scheme around Will's deep ball and deficiencies and win big games without stretching the ball downfield? Appreciate the super chat, Shane Cup. I think that we can. I think the biggest issue with Will's deep ball is him not seeing it soon enough or not throwing with the anticipation, being a bit late. So like when Will's a little late, he's hella late on the deep ball, because what you want is, like how they say, if a wide receiver's even, he's leaving. That ball hung a little bit too long. And I just feel like if you give the wide receiver an extension and you're putting that in front of them, you're not only taking the DB out of it, right? You're also giving the wide receiver a chance to make an athletic, like we got athletic freaks, right? You're giving them a chance to make the athletic play on the ball. When you're putting that much air, when Will's putting that much air on the ball, you could tell, like, the ball is kind of, it's like Ben Roethlisberger on the back end of his career, man, where the balls will kind of be just, the deep balls will be underthrown. And I kind of hated that, seeing that for Big Ben. But if you watched in that game, I think there was another deep pass that Will could have had, and he came off of it and went to another route. And he also talked about, throwing that deep pass and that interception and stuff. And I think he was just saying like a couple of other routes he couldn't, throw to. That's what he had. And he wanted to trust Jeremiah. But yeah, I think Chip Kelly is going to be fine with this, scheming it open. It's one of the things that I kind of worry about, because being a dink and dunk offense, that's not something that I want to be, especially when you're talking about getting into the better games and you going up against top tier talents where they're just as fast as you, or they don't miss as many tackles and things like that. That's where that can make me worry a bit. Now I'm trusting Chip Kelly. He looks to be scheming things. And I'll tell you this, that JJ's long touchdown that he also had Ben Christian wide open, like in the middle of the field too. So he had two options there. I think what Chip Kelly is doing is just confusing defenses, confusing their mind. And as Will said, I don't think that we have seen like anything yet of what Chip Kelly really has in his bag. So, I mean, what people are seeing on tape is probably just a little bit. We heard about Chip Kelly's binder and how big that is, man. So, and it looks like people are wanting to get to, well, before we get to that, let's talk about a couple more things about defense. We got guys saying Sonny Styles was out of position. He's too slow. And here's the thing. I won't say that he's too slow. He's making a false read and a false misstep, which is the offense job to get the linebacker to make that false read, right? Sonny can't do that. That's the issue. But that's the whole thing where I'm talking about. You have to change your whole mentality. This is a developmental year, I think, for Sonny at the linebacker position. And there is nothing wrong with that. We know the dude's a freak. We know he's an athlete. But, I mean, it just is what it is. And right now, I just think that if Arvell Reese was getting those same reps that Sonny was getting, I think he would be the better linebacker for, maybe the remainder of the season. But hopefully Sonny can get better because, I mean, I do want us to be able to rotate out there. What else? We got shout out Coach Locke. Yes, shout out Coach Locke. And screw Benedict Alford. That's up there in 2A, man, for sure. Will the freshman didn't fight for that ball? Yep. All right. You have to pick your poison with the. Hey, I got Mike Green. You have to pick your poison with the offense. And he is 100% right. And Mike, I appreciate you. I don't want you to think I forgot about your other super chat. I am getting to it later in the show, Mike. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I appreciate you, brother. And we got another one. I don't see Devin or the tight end from Ohio U and you. Oh, I don't want to see Devin or the tight end. Now the tight end definitely makes me nervous. He makes me nervous. It was one play I saw, it looked like somebody threw him out the club. It was pretty shocking to see that was happening in the MAC game. And you should have been the type of tight end that should have been dominating the MAC. It's going to make me a little worried going into Big Ten play because I think right after they threw, like I said, he got thrown out the club, they brought G. Scotty in like right away. So we'll see how that goes, man. We will see how that goes. And I want to talk about special teams, man. There's a video going out about Ryan Day talking to Fielding, and it looks like Ryan Day is saying there's no effing win. Fielding's trying to make all of the excuses. And shout out to Ryan Day. He's not trying to hear any of it. And you heard him say in his post-game press conference, I was trying to let him, work through it, right? But at some point, you just got to pull a mother. He didn't say that part. I added that. That's my ad lib. But at some point, you do. You got to pull a mother effer, right? And that's exactly what he did, man. So shout out to Ryan Day, not taking no more of the BS excuses. Brandon Ennis did have a muff punt. I don't know if he did an interview or didn't see an interview with Brandon Ennis to know what actually went on with that. But the thing in the punt game, like I tried to tell everybody when we did the post game on Mark Rogers, make sure you're checking us out after every Ohio State game over there on the Voice of College Football. I was saying in the punt game, there are times when you can lose the ball in the sun. You see it in NFL games, not only even in domes. You hear that they say, oh, I lost the ball in the lights. Those type of things happen. But, I mean, he could have lost it in the sun. He also, especially, it's high noon. that the sun is probably getting to its peak at that time. And then also with the wind, and you have wind gusts, right? I don't know how, I wasn't in the stadium or anything. And Ryan Day was saying that there's no effing wind, but sometimes there's wind gusts. Who knows? The wind could have shifted it, but I'm thinking it was more of he lost it a little bit and misjudged it while it was in the air. Was my whole thing on Brandon and his muff. And let's go and talk about James Laurinaitis, man. We see Burn posted a picture showing the moment Sincere Johnson went ahead and got his official offer from the Ohio State. Sincere is from Cleveland, Glenville. You know how I feel about my Cleveland boys. And then we heard about Coach Locke in the bye week. He was from Lake Show to Cedar Road and Lee. So if you know about that, that sounds like Villa Angela St. Joe's and Cleveland Heights High School right there. And I don't know, there's something going on in Cleveland, but your boy Cleveland Mike is loving it, man. Let's go. Hey, Cleveland takeover at the Buckeyes. But like I have always said, and like we know, when you have national championship teams here at Ohio State, your dogs, majority of your guys are Ohio guys because they fighting for something different, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. So, but we have to get into it because everybody wants to talk about it. I'm going to throw Mike's old super chat back up there talking about the USC and the Team Up North game. And here I'm like 50-50 with Mike, man. I'm 50-50, bruh, because it says USC lost because of USC, not because of Scum. And I'm going to tell you this, bro. Coming out of that game, what that just, tells me is I don't think that USC is really ready for the Big Ten in the trenches, man. The fact, like I said, I do understand and I know that team up north they have a really, really good defense. They do. But a lot of those issues, it just looked like they trenches wasn't ready. Like when the team up north wanted to throw them boys back, they could. It was really sad. I thought Miller Moss would be a little bit better, more poised in the pocket, but that man was getting happy feet. And I'm telling you, them trenches ain't going to hold up in the Big Ten. It's going to be a long season for Lincoln Riley. Also, thought the defensive coordinator, for USC, I don't understand how you lose to a team who is running the Wildcat offense the whole game. They threw for less than 40 passing yards and still won that game. That is insane. And then you got Will Johnson won't play another down for Teton. He doesn't have to. I think it'll look bad on him now. Like, it's one thing if you put, what was that? Jamar Chase, if you sit out the season, it's one thing to do that, right? But then just quit in the middle of the season on your team, bruh. No, I don't think that he's that type of guy. Let's see. Yeah, Mike Green, appreciate the two. Mike Green, 32 yards passing. That is insane, man. We got our guy Elk. I have no idea what plays Lincoln was trying to run. Oaks, appreciate the two. Yeah, I have no idea what Lincoln was thinking. It was a lot of quick game. And honestly, I just felt like he was thinking that Miller Moss had happy feet. He didn't have that much confidence and faith in Miller Moss. And one thing that I have told you all, I said the reason I always felt like Lincoln Riley's offense was a little bit fraudulent was for the simple fact of his offense really only works with a quarterback who's like athletic playing street ball back there, right? And that's what I hate when you see an unathletic quarterback out there and things like that. They get stalled out so much. They did, running back was able to get off a little bit and things like that, which I thought was kind of a little bit concerning from that team up north, seeing how they are supposed to be. But I also want to say, because we saw a Maurice Clarett type play. Now I'm thinking about it. Shout out to the running back for USC. There was a fumble on the play. What was it? Mason Graham or whoever the guy was ends up getting the ball. He's running down. And the guy, you thinking that he's just jumping on his back to make the tackle or something. No, what he doing? He goes, gets the ball, and it's a fumble. They recover it. USC gets to try again, man, after the turnover. So I do want to say it was good to see another Maurice Clarett type play because, if teams lose, they don't never want to think about those type of plays. But that was a huge play. And going back, like, the whole, like, USC lost it. Yeah, you could say that they lost it too. But do y'all really think that they ready for, like, the Big Ten, man? I mean, especially in the fourth quarter, them boys were just wore down. They looked like they tapped out. They wasn't ready. And, they ran right at them. Right at them. Had several chances to stop. Looked like they was tackling like they were tired. So I think USC, they still got some things that they have to work out. Can't always go ahead and jump from things like the LSU game. And this is why, the committee, they bring their rankings out later on in the season. It is a reason why, because you don't know what these teams are. This is why I say I hate the AP poll, right? I don't care. Keep us at 3. Drop us down to 6. I don't care. The only rankings that I care about is the playoff committee rankings, right? Because LSU, we saw before they ran off with the game with UCLA, they were in a tight one with UCLA. Should have never been in the tight one with UCLA. I'm sorry, but UCLA is in a rebuild, new program. UCLA just got spanked by what? Indiana? So not saying because Indiana got a good quarterback, but I still LSU got all that talent. When you're talking talent for talent, Indiana should definitely, not. I don't know. I think LSU definitely still got some issues, but with Brian Kelly went down there, I said they about to be the Notre Dame of the South. Just is what it is, man. Let's see what else we got here. Let's get into the chats. USC def not ready for the Big Ten. They lost to a team, only had 32 passing yards. T-Con runs 6 offensive linemen on the field. BS, him busted USC ass. They bullied with 3 4-stars. I agree, man. They definitely bullied them, bro. That was just, bro, we've learned it doesn't matter. The tackling by the offensive lineman for is second level. I just want to say this, man. In the Big Ten, you've seen this from when we had Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Sam Hubbard. You've seen Jalen Holmes, Tyreek Lewis. Like, you have seen this for years. Big Ten refs ain't calling no damn holding calls, bro. They ain't calling that shit. They just not. They not calling it unless they feel that you are the superior team and you going against an inferior team. Oh, if you holding, they calling that. Yeah. They gonna call that. But other than that, don't count on Big Ten refs for none of that. They stopped running the ball, USC. Yeah, but they had to stop running the ball because they would end up getting behind the sticks. And the passing game that they was doing was an extension of the run game because, it was like dink and dunk. But you saw people was just making tackles. You got to make some guys miss. They weren't doing it. I could say Zachariah Branch. He definitely had a welcome to the Big Ten moment, man. And I saw some people was like, hey, Zachariah Branch want to come here next year. Who he starting over? You got Cardinal Tate, JJ, Brandon Ennis. Like, I'm sorry. I think Ennis can take a hit better than that kid, bro. That he looked a little scared. You saw him. I'll say this. The Will Johnson pick play, you're doing a hitch and you're not coming to the ball? Make it like, when has a wide receiver ever been taught, don't come back to the ball like that? Like, yeah, you could have at least been in the way to stop the pick six. You could have did something, but you just stopped, and then as Will Johnson just flashed across your face, you kind of was like this, and it looked like you were scared. So, I mean, hey, everybody want to talk about the Big Ten. Do they got to play the Big Ten? It's different. That missed tackle on the long run, man, was crazy. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. It looked like they were tired. Like, did it not look like they were just tired? It was very half-assed. I just felt like they were gassed. Them boys, just, it was weird. But I will say this, somehow USC got a stop on defense while Bryson Shaw was on the field. That was insane, because I'm not going to lie. I know my if I'm that team up north, I know my quarterbacks can't throw. But damn it, I see Bryson Shaw on the field. Shit, that looked like food to me. I'm throwing it up. I ain't going to lie to you. No, they not them boys. Knew they were not going to throw and still could not stop them. Yeah, and that was my whole thing. I'm like, okay, that that they're not going to throw. Why not force the quarterback to throw? And I felt like USC wasn't doing that at all. Like, they weren't forcing the quarterback to throw, like, at all. They weren't, bringing everybody in the box. Like, I don't know. It was weird. It was definitely a weird game to watch for sure. All right, throw the ball from Grant. And Edwards lost the ball. Yep. Texas and Tennessee are real. I don't know if Tennessee is real, man. I'm not really high on OU's defense that much. I mean, they made plays and stuff. I knew Tennessee was gonna win that game because they got a better quarterback. I knew that Jackson Arnold was freaking fraudulent. So, I mean, it is what it is. All right. Only reason USC lost was that broken tackle on the run. They had them on the ropes. You can say that's the only reason, but see, here's my thing. I'm not going with just one play. It wasn't just one play that broke the camel's back, bro. It was multiple plays that broke that camel's back, bro. And like I said, that was right a time to nut up, right? Drop your nuts. It was time to drop your nuts. They didn't do that. They did not do that. They had another chance to drop their nuts and stop that team from getting the first down when they was in the red zone. They didn't do that. There was more than just one, man. So we can't do that. We can't do that. We ain't gonna do that. All right. This USC win is fake news. Depending on USC schedule, Big Ten refs call targeting like they paycheck depend on it. Yep. Hey, it is what it is. Ohio State goes into Big Ten play next week. That game is on, I hear it's on the Peacock, pause. And it will be a 7:00 Eastern game. Sorry, I'll be having to think in my head because I'm in a different time zone than most of y'all. But yeah, 7:00 Eastern time. Definitely tune into that game. Maybe before, if you're going to restaurants or like to go to restaurants to watch games, I will call ahead to make sure that they are showing it, because some restaurants ain't doing that. They're not paying for the Peacock or none of that. But I heard Buffalo Wild Wings is using Stream East. So yeah, that's just what I saw. But I just want to say I appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all hit that like button. If y'all want to tap in with me, I'm on Twitter at 216_Wildboy. Also, check us out in the Discord, man. Description is in the link below. Make sure that you check us out on Discord. Always watch a film. Folks playing games in there. I believe they got a whole NCAA league going on in there on PS5 and Xbox. They streaming live in there all the time. Check it out, man. We appreciate y'all, and we are out of here, man. Remember, OH.
It's us. Damn.